Hey, how y'all doing? This is your girl Tysheen. I am back. With 7 British things we don't have in America. All right, so let's just get straight to the video because I'm curious now. I'm curious.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of... Oh, how embarrassing. Sorry, just a bit of force of habit there. America, land of the free, home of the endless aisles in the grocery store. But despite sometimes feeling like they...
I'm not gonna lie. I'm sorry for cutting the video, but I'm so jealous of the look of his video. I just love how the way it's clear. I just wish my video was like that. Sometimes I be thinking my video is not that clear. I don't know. Got nothing to do with this video.
Got it all. There are many things that actually manage to elude most Americans. After moving to the UK 11 years ago, it took me some time to pick up on the lingo here. Sometimes it'd be something we already have a word for in American English that I'd have to learn, like, oh, when they say rocket, they don't mean a spaceship, they mean a plane. Arugula. But there exists a certain class of item that is so ubiquitous within the UK, and yet very much not a thing in the States. These are things that it took me a really long time to wrap my head around as an American, because, well, listen, everyone knows it here, they learn this stuff since childhood, and here I am, a grown adult, and it leaves me asking, what's a toilet brush? Well, this might blow your mind as a Brit. What do you mean you don't have toilet brushes in the States? I've seen what you eat. First off, rude. Secondly, true. But in America, we always have a plunger next to the toilet in case there's a clog. It's rare, but that's it. Toilets in America are much deeper and have much more water than British toilets do. Not only that, but from my experience, American toilets are just so much stronger than British ones. If you've ever been to America, I'm fairly certain you can attest to that. I found it odd that during a road trip in California I went on in 2022 with some British friends, my friend Luke comes out of the bathroom saying, "Why do you Americans fill your toilet bowls up with so much water? It's so full it wet my willy." Wow, I thought he was just trying to brag about the size of his peen, but no, it turns out this is a thing. Now, I'd say the idea of needing to brush away poo with a toilet brush is inevitably going to gross out a lot of Americans that have never heard of this before because...
A lot of us have toilet brushes next to our toilet. You have to have it. It's a must. Okay, you don't want a dirty, messy toilet. It is a must. You must have that next to your toilet. I'm not a fan of toilet brushes. I like the reusable ones. I don't know if y'all, I might have to look it up and show it to y'all. But I like the one you could just you could clean it and you throw away the brush in the garbage. I like those ones. The ones you could just throw away. Those I like. I like those better because I don't like the brushes next to my toilet. It's disgusting.
To be honest, it is pretty gross, but the most embarrassing thing about all of this is living with other British people, being a full-grown adult, and having them go, why has no one ever taught you how to use a toilet brush before? And you have to be like, I didn't even know that's what that thing was in the corner. I didn't know what that was for. I thought maybe you use it like when you clean the bathroom, maybe every 2-3 weeks when you do a big clean of the house. Fair, that's what you'd use it for, not after every individual poo, but it's just, listen.
Yeah, I understand. It depends. I can't believe we're talking about this. It depends on the poo. It depends if it's messy. Because some people, like I said, you have to have a toilet brush next to your toilet. It is a must.
I'm not used to having issues where a toilet leaves stains because American toilets don't do that. So yeah, it might be a little embarrassing, but you know,
I don't know
you live, you learn. Now I've got a really nice little toilet brush that tucks itself away whenever you're finished using it. So it's hidden, it's small. I like toilet brushes. If you're interested in mine, I'll put it in the description. But that being said, I would easily trade out this terrible British toilet, every British toilet I've ever had, for an American one if I could. Or, oh my God, the luxury, the Japanese toilet. But one can dream, maybe if I ever own 100% of a house rather than
I would love a Japanese
But
toilet.
as you probably know, I live in a flat, and the developer is definitely not going to let me swap out the toilet. So, toilet humor. Now, number 2, if you're someone with a uterus, it will cause you some pain, at least once a month. One thing I found odd living with so many different women in the UK is during that special time of the month, they always request one thing, a hot water bottle or a hot water bottle. Imagine my confusion the first time someone asked me for that.
Oh, God.
Like, oh, Evan, do you mind picking me up a hot water bottle when you're out? Come again? Where do I get one of those? Greg's? Like, yeah, can I get a sausage roll, a yum yum, and where do you guys keep your hot water bottles? I didn't know. Jokes aside, it turns out a hot water bottle is a bottle of water heated up and placed in a soft fabric. They're usually sold as a whole item. It's not like you just put a...
I didn't even know it come in a case. I have one, but I didn't know it come in a nice case like that. That little furry... where can I get? Where can I get that?
Water bottle and
That's a nice
I guess
case.
you could, but some people like to place them on their stomachs during cramps, and others
Yeah.
like to heat theirs up before putting it under the covers with them to keep them warm. Now, I
Warm,
personally
yeah.
would prefer just buying a higher tog duvet for those winter months, but that's just me. I don't get menstrual cramps, so that is my
Yeah.
privilege. Now, you might be wondering, well, what the
Very
hell do
lucky
Americans use to deal with cramps? You've seen the adverts, right? Drugs, lots of drugs. But
Lots of
no, I asked my
drugs.
American audience on Instagram what they use, and I got responses like hot rice. Hot rice? I get that's roughly the same thing, you know, kind of
What?
malleable, but I
Hot
can't imagine just going
rice?
into P.F. Chang's and being like, I've got some cramps, give me that hot rice. And then you get different cramps. But no, it's basically the same thing. Instead of hot water bottle, it's like a bag of rice that's heated up and it's malleable just like water. So I guess that makes sense. Now, I asked a few of my girlfriends across the pond as well as those in the UK, and my British friends pretty much unanimously did say they use a hot water bottle. Some of them said they just take a hot bath, whereas my American friends did say they either take rice, a drug called My Doll, or they use an electric heating pad, which is very similar to a hot water bottle, but you
A lot of people here do use hot bottles. A lot of us do use the hot, the hot bottle. We use that. We do use that. They sell it in the pharmacy. People have been using this for years here in America. So I guess it all depends on the people who, I don't know, the people that he know. I never heard of the whole hot rice. Never heard of it. People do use Midol. That Midol is very, very good to use. When I used to have mines, I never like to take pills because pills didn't do anything for me. I usually just store it right back up. I just have to deal with the cramps. But thank God I stopped getting cramps when I was like in my late 20s. I had stopped getting cramps. I don't get cramps anymore. I'm one of those lucky women that don't get cramps. When it comes and it goes. The only thing it does to me is just make me tired. I be so tired. But yeah, I never use any of these things. Yeah, but I never heard of the hot rice. That's new to me.
charges it. It's more of the future, though way less energy efficient. But then again, that depends on how you're heating your water in your hot water bottle, because as a related item that is really rare in the States that may make you nod your head and go, ah, that makes sense. Americans don't really have electric kettles, so it's not really as convenient to quickly boil some water.
What is going on? Am I living in a whole different, maybe it depends on the state. Cause like, if you're American, can you comment below? Cause what is up with these people that's saying that we don't have kettles, hot, like, I've been using hot kettles for years since I was young. We had kettles. My grandmother had kettles on her stove. My great grandmother had kettles on the stove. We always drink tea, and we mostly drink tea, hot chocolate. But I grew up drinking lots of tea. I don't know. I don't know. I know some of y'all probably wondering, why do I have by my window? Because I be lazy. When I'm sitting here, I don't feel like going to the kitchen. I could just go right here. I got my tea right here. I got my sugar. When I'm ready, I could just make me some tea right here. So yeah, I don't know what I'm explaining.
To put in your hot water bottle. I made an entire video about this way, America's lack of electric kettles already, and the reasons, so I'll link that above. Now, Britain is a really, really rainy isle, and pretty much every Brit I've met from as young as 8 to as old as 90 owns a pair of wellies, the cute word for Wellington boots, which are quite rare in the US. Being in Britain, you're just expected to know what a wellie is, and when you're invited to go to a festival, you're told everyone there will be in wellies, but, well, I've never owned a pair. They're mostly used here for country walks, which is one of the biggest British pastimes. We do have rain boots in the States, but the style of long rubber tube that's so much in Britain isn't really as big a thing. They do exist, just not as big. Now, growing up in New Jersey, I think myself and many Americans,
a lot of us have that, but it's not a big thing, to be honest. Like, I wear, depends on how bad the weather is. I have to wear it. Depends on how bad it is. Depends on how, and it hasn't been snowing that much here in America. I mean, sorry, in New York. Especially where I'm at, it don't really snow that high like it used to be. You know, we don't get that high, you know, it don't snow that much, I should say. That's what I'm trying to say. It don't snow that much. So I don't really need to use it. So I just go outside with just my shoes, my sneakers, whatever. Yeah.
Americans owned a pair of
I
duck
don't really
boots
wear it
from
like
LL
that.
Bean. They're also where I get like my flannels from, like this one. They're kind of like the Americana outdoorsy brand version of John Lewis, if that makes sense. Duck boots are like peak rainwear men's fashion in America. Though, if you've never seen them before today, I'd love to hear what you think of them, because I feel like some people probably hate the way they look, but I don't know. I think they look good for rain boots. They're rain boots, and they kind of give that nice outdoorsy vibe. But, I mean, they're a little pricier than wellies, and wellies are a much cuter name, I'll give you that. But it's always...
I guess because they're more stronger. I've seen mostly men wear it. I never really see... I mean, women probably do wear it too, but I mostly see the men, like the men who like live like in the countryside. They usually wear that.
Have a much cuter name. And also, from what I've heard, putting on a pair of British rain boots is well easy. So there's your bad pun. But speaking of waterproof shoes, this video sponsor, just kidding. No, it's not. Just false alarm. I had you. I had you. All right, moving along. We're now halfway there. So if this isn't your first vid of mine, you have to click the subscribe button. Sorry, I don't make the rules. I'll be squashing any dissent. But speaking of squash, it does exist in the States. But you know, it's just a vegetable. We have some butternut squash, different types of squash, or a fruit. I guess. I mean, if you want to be pedantic, squash is technically a fruit. But squash in the UK and only refers to 3 nouns. One is the same vegetable we have in the States, and the other 2 are similar enough, but also comically different if you come from a different country like I do. At this point, I'd lived in the UK for over a year or so I was staying over at a friend's house, and it turns out they had squash. I had heard Brits really loved squash, so I poured myself a glass, and good Lord, did I wince? You know, Brits always love bullying Americans for how sugary their food and their drink is, but Jesus, that cup of squash was so much like liquid sugar. Like, it was both thin and thick at the same time, like maple syrup, like someone condensed 2 bottles of Sunny D into a single glass. Now, I'm assuming this is a common mistake for migrants to make the move to the UK, but squash refers to not only the drink you make with squash, but also squash. So it's a bottle of concentrated...
No added sugar orange squash. 4-time concentrated, made with 40% fruit,
sugar and fruit syrup that you mix with like 5, 6, 7 parts water, but it's also the drink that you mix together. So how was I to know I was supposed to mix, all right? You don't think someone says they drink a drink and you're supposed to like read the instructions that say mix it with things. So yeah, I drank the double concentration Robinsons.
Whoa.
It was not nice. This is the one I just picked up from the local store. It's called Ribena.
Ribena? Ooh.
And I will be honest, it's not bad. I personally just really enjoy water. I like, water's my favorite drink. I know that's super lame, but also it's the best drink. So what's wrong with you if you don't like water? But this, it's small.
I don't like water like that, but of course I have to drink it. It's a must. I have to drink water. My doctor always told me, you need to drink a lot of water. So yeah, I have to drink water. But water is not my favorite. My cranberry juice is my #1 favorite thing to drink. Cranberry juice. I have to have my cranberry juice. I have to. And the second, it would be orange juice. Like, orange juice is my second favorite. What's the next one? So we have cranberry juice. Oh, pineapple. I love me some pineapple. Oh my God. Love pineapple.
Out of this really just, it gives this a nice kick. And from what I've seen, this isn't too unhealthy, so I mean, I can see the appeal of it, especially if you've got kids and they're like, Mommy, I want to drink soda. And you're like, sorry, I consider that a form of abuse. I suppose this is actually a healthy compromise. But this isn't just any ordinary squash. This is the most popular flavor of it. And in fact, one of the most popular fruity flavors in all of Britain that is practically non-existent in the States. And that, of course, is blackcurrant. Unless you've moved countries like I have, you'll never really understand the confusion that comes from seeing and hearing something all around you that seems so incredibly commonplace that you begin to question whether or not it also existed where you're from and maybe you were just living under some sort of rock. But no, Brits just love blackcurrants and they use the flavor in everything. Pies, jams, drinks, medicines, Skittles. Even the purple Skittle is actually blackcurrant flavor, which is such a shame. Because
it's more healthy. At least don't have dye in it.
Mid. I'm sorry, but it's just not that good. Now, some of these on my list, you might say, hey, I know some Americans with wellies, or hey, I actually knew a few Americans that had hot water bottles. But blackcurrant is almost completely unknown to Americans, with less than 0.1% of Americans having even had a blackcurrant in their lives. I might actually make an entire extra video about this topic because I find it so interesting, and I think you will too.
I've never heard of it, to be honest. Damn, I'm learning something today. I'm about to Google that. I'm learning something today.
But spoiler alert, basically black currants were banned in the States for many, many years. And so
Why?
we found something better, the grape. Okay, we have grape flavored things, and grapes are delicious. Obviously grapes exist in the UK too, but not really the grape flavor. You cannot find many grape flavored things here, as it's been replaced with a worse fruit, the blackcurrant. If you never
No grape juice? No grape juice? I probably do have grape juice, right? Comment below if y'all have grape juice. Well, you have to have grape. You have grapes there, so I'm assuming you have all the flavored juice out there. But like he said, it probably is not as popular, but I'm quite sure y'all have grape juice.
have had grape jelly before, you're missing out. Sadly, every UK supermarket I've ever been to, they got strawberry jam, they got raspberry jam, they don't have any grape jelly. I don't know why I said it like that, but I just miss grape jelly so much. It's just got a specific flavor that's so nice. Grape soda, grape jelly, the grape skittle. You guys
so I do have grape. You don't have, oh, you do? You have grape soda?
Think about it like this. If you like wine, that's made out of grapes, right? You'd probably like grape flavors too, and you'd switch to being on Team Grape-em. God, that was a bad pun. I just plug them in where they don't fit. Now, speaking of switching and plugs, I'm really trying with these segues, guys. We all know that British electrical plugs are superior as a feat of engineering that prevents shocks. I couldn't tell you the amount of times that I was shocked as a child, physically shocked, by unplugging or plugging in my Nintendo and whatnot. I could. It's probably like at least 4 times, but I remember each of those times because I'm informative. Yeah,
y'all plugs are is the best. Some of y'all who've been following me for a while, I did a video about that. That was comparing the plugs here in America and in Europe. You know, it was comparing the plugs. Y'all plugs are way more secure and more safer than our plugs. Our plugs could be a little loose. It's not that strong. It don't get that good grip it's supposed to have. It don't get that. So y'all got the best plugs. I give y'all that.
Very early on to be very afraid of outlets. It was genuinely scary, and that's pretty much not a thing here due to how British plugs are designed. They're like butterscotch in that they're always grounded. When I told this story to my friend Luke, he looked at me like I had 3 heads and went, how is that supposed to be a shared experience? I've never been shocked. So kids here, they get to have safe
I've never been
outlets.
shocked before.
Lucky you. But what you might not know is those incredibly commonplace switches next to every single British outlet to allow you to cut off power specifically to that single appliance are practically non-existent in the US. Yeah, I know.
I don't know why we don't
to fear American electronics. Now you might.
I don't know why we don't have that. We should. I don't understand. We should. I just don't. Nobody never thought of that. The people who made these type of plugs here in America, they never thought of that. That it'd be more safer if you could just click that little switch and turn it off. It'll be more safe for everybody. You know how much people probably died. Or a lot of fire had caused by loose plugs.
I think having switches on outlets is a little bit extra, but there are 3 big perks to this. 1, it's nice to have another way to turn off an appliance. Extra ways to control your home is surely going to be a good idea, right? 2, a lot of appliances these days, even when you have them powered off, still use a small amount of energy. For instance, all the smart lights I have in my house, they're always listening, whether I tell them to turn off and whatnot. So cutting the power at the outlet, if that's what you're into, would save you a little bit of energy at least, especially during cozy lives. But the biggest reason they're mandatory in the UK is for how much safer they make plugging things in.
That's so true. You save so much electricity. Can you imagine if you're going to work or if you're going on vacation, you could just turn it off just like that? You save. That's so true.
In America,
that's why they probably don't want us to have it. I think that's the reason why they don't want us to have it. And I'm thinking they want us to pay that electricity bill. They trying to get every cent from us.
When you plug a plug-in to a powered-on outlet, as the pins get closer to where you're connecting to, you may have some electricity jumping out or arcing to connect to the pins. And other times, you hear that terrifying crackle sound as things connect. I've definitely had more than one outlet in the States.
Sorry to cut the video so short. That happened to me. Was it a couple of days ago? I was plugging something in and it was making this like crackle noise, and I was like so scared. I jumped. It didn't like shock me or anything like that, but I jumped because I was so scared. I was like, oh my god.
That ended up burned like this. But If the US kept their same plug style and everything else, but added only switches to the outlets, it would pretty much solve that problem. If the outlet is powered off when you plug in, there's no current to leap to your pins.
Exactly.
Then you simply turn on the power, boop, with the switch, and everything's nice and snug.
Exactly.
No arcing. Isn't that
problem.
Nice? Now, luckily for us in the UK, that is never really needed for that safety precaution because there's already 2 other safety precautions in place, such as having the ground pin mandatory in all British plugs and having it be a little longer so when you are plugging it in, it's always grounded. Also, insulation on the upper half of the plug. There's so many good perks to the British plug. This is one of those things where I'm just surprised that at least in the US, they don't just adopt one extra thing, like just for safety. Plus, in the event that something goes horribly wrong and maybe someone is getting shocked from their wire, well, all you have to do is flip the switch and they're fine. As opposed to having someone pull out the wire that's currently causing shocks, not a good idea. Or I guess running to turn it off at the mains, which judging from the size of most American homes, by the time you come back, that person has been electrocuted. So
exactly. This is what I'm saying. Like, you could save so many lives. That's crazy how we don't have that. That's crazy because you can't pull it out because that's dangerous. Then you don't want to touch that person because if they're being electrocuted, like, it's so, I don't know. I don't know why they never thought of this.
It just makes sense to add switches to outlets. Now, as an added little fact, in England and Wales, roughly 7 people die per year due to electrocution in a domestic setting, whereas in the US, that number is dwarfed by children alone dying from shocks. Like I said, it is very much a standard American experience to be shocked as a child. Eventually you realize maybe don't stick a fork in there. Also, I do just want to point out that I'm not an
Why was I thinking that before he even said that? I was thinking that.
Trisha, I know being on YouTube, people expect you to know everything. I do not. I'm not the smartest guy in the world. So there will probably be someone much smarter than me in the comments that's an electrician, what do they call him here? A Sparky, who's gonna give you a lot of fun facts. So check the comment section if I've said something silly. In America, that sort of crowd involvement where you break the fourth wall in a bit is not really something that is done ever except in like Dora the Explorer, like, hey, ¿dónde está Swiper? Cerca del lago. Gracias. Está allí. Yes, my Spanish is coming along okay. Thanks for asking, Dora. But besides Dora, it's really not a thing. However, over here, Brits absolutely love their pantomimes, or pantos, as they like to call them, which are really, really popular during the Christmas period. And if you thought Dora the Explorer was just some sort of fun show for children, you'd be surprised. Adults here absolutely get super involved in the pantos as well. I've seen a little panto at Kew Gardens once, and it involved a fairy, I think. In fact, I think most traditionally are based on old children's stories, but simply put, it's a performance where the cast are like, "What?" And the crowd is like, "He's right there," or "He's behind you, it's on your dress," something like that. If I said something like, "You all subscribe to my YouTube channel," you'd say, "Oh, no, you don't." Damn, I was hoping for, yes, we do. But I appreciate the, reality check. That's fine. Now, I can see the appeal of being more involved in a show, but they're okay. Maybe it's because I've never been to like a real one. If you have any good recommendations for ones in London, I'd be open to hearing. But if you try explaining the concept of a pantomime to an American, they'll probably just look at you like you've got 3 heads, as pantomime in American English is pretty much, going to be a silent performance with mimes. At least that's what I would have thought it would be. Whereas it's quite literally the opposite of a silent performance. And assumably the American will probably also bring up Dora the Explorer. She's just that super cool Explorer Dora.
Anyway, make sure you subscribe to my channel, and I see y'all lovely people. Y'all take care of yourself. Be safe. Peace.